right, welcome back. In this episode, this is part 2 of building an MDG, which is part of a larger series on MDG technologies. And in this episode, we are going to continue working on our profile. We are going to build out our toolbox. We're going to build out our diagram profile. And then we're going to test and make sure everything's working after we develop our MDG. So let's get started. Let's go ahead and close our testing diagram. Let's minimize the root folder. Let's go back up to the property package that's here. And let's add some more stuff in here. So what we're going to do is let's make features a little bit not as tall, so we have more work area. And let's put properties back over in the lower right. So right here, and I like to have it right next to notes. So right there. Let's add another stereotype for connector this time. So we're going to drag and drop a stereotype element in here, and we're simply going to call it association. That's our connector name. Now, it's probably smarter to give it a unique name like SA_association. And let's do this just to see the stereotype show up when we test our association. This time we're going to right click on here, edit in profile helper, and we are going to add a metaclass. Select here, it is a connector extension. Add a metaclass. It is going to be an association. There we go. So it is a connector extension, association, and we're going to give it a meta type. You don't have to, this is optional. I usually don't do this, but I want to show what happens. This time again, we're going to use camel, capital S, A, underscore, capital A. There we go. And then not going to change any of the other properties. We're just going to hit OK. So it creates the association metaclass for us. And the stereotype is SA association. Let's make sure we're saving our profile. And what I like to do is use the same tag value because I want to, in my associations, I want to tell the stakeholders whether this connector is reuse, enhance, or new. So I'm going to right click on the stereotype again, go back to edit with profile helper, go to tagged values, right click in here, add specialized tag value, enumeration. We're going to name it, and we're going to use the same name as the enumeration. It's going to filter and look for wherever you have that enumeration. It happens to be in our profile package. We're going to hit OK and then hit OK. We did not choose a default. So I can select it, and you can see in features here that no default has been chosen. I'm going to hit the triple dots. And I'm going to type in reuse because that's the one that I want to use. And there we go. Impact type, tag value has been added. Impact default is reuse. Now let's add another stereotype. Let's tighten everything up a little bit here. Move this here, something like that. Something like that. Doesn't matter what order they're in. And clean it up later. We're going to add in another stereotype. And this one is going to be named microservice. So we're creating a stereotype for microservice. And what we're going to do is right click on this. Again, go to edit with profile helper. And this one's going to be an element extension. We're going to add a meta class. And the element we're going to choose from is class. We're going to hit OK, and there we go. And for the meta type, using camel or initial case, microservice. Make sure you're spelling it right. My eyes are old. I'll catch it later. I always come back in and edit it. Hit OK. It's adding class because that's what we chose. Just like it did here, we did manually with an extension. We didn't have to come over here to profile relationships or manually draw it. It drew everything for us. Now, same thing with this element. We want to right click on this, go to edit with profile helper. We want to add a tag value, right click in here, add specialized enumeration. Again, we want to use impact type, and then we want to filter and look for where it is. Pretty simple. It's in our profile. Hit OK. And we're going to set a default here of new. We can always change it, but we're going to do that. So you can see here, now we have an enumeration added or a tag value for impact type where the default is new. Let's make sure we're saving, and we're going to now do something really cool. We're going to right click on here, go to edit with profile helper. This time we're going to shape script, and we want a shape script for our microservice. Now, when it comes up by default, it's using Enterprise Architect's ShapeScript 1.0. That's the only selection you have. Just take the default, don't worry. And you can start coding your shape script. Now, in our case, I've already got it coded. All right, so this is a polygon in here, and I think everything is done. Closing tag, everything looks good. We're going to hit OK, and there we go. So it's going to have the name in the middle of the element. This is a class element with a shape script. We're going to hit OK. There we go. We have another attribute for shape script. So the next one is toolbox, not diagram, toolbox. Let's go ahead and double click it. We have a blank work area. This time over in the toolbox for profiling, we're going to use profile helpers, expand it, and we're going to add a toolbox page. So we're going to select this, drag and drop it anywhere we want here, and we get this dialog box right here. And we're going to give this a name. Now for this name, we're going to call it solution diagram because we're going to have a diagram for solutioning, and we want the name of the toolbox it's being applicable to for that. So this is solution diagram. We're not going to worry about tooltips. We'll get into that maybe in another session. And we're not going to worry about icon. You can add icons for your toolbox. What we're going to do is we're going to go to add, and then we're going to add stereotype. And in stereotype, we're going to go to the profile page, and we want to add each of these stereotypes. So let's go ahead and start with the solution stereotype. And you got to do one at a time. And we're going to call it application. Call it anything you want. We want the alias to be application. We're going to add another one, stereotype. And this time we're going to choose microservice. And we're going to literally call it microservice. Doesn't matter what order. We just want to bring in the stereotypes into our toolbox that we're going to use when we generate our MDG. So we're going to add another one, and that is going to be for the connector. And we're going to call this simply connector. You could call it association or anything you want. We're going to call it connector, and we're going to hit OK. And what it's doing is drawing out the stereotype we named solution diagram, and it's adding the stereotypes to a meta class for toolbox page. And you could rename this if you wanted. I don't. I'll leave it that name. You get into multiple toolboxes, you might want to make those, not might, you will need to make those unique names for manageability. So there we go. We created the toolbox profile for MDG. Let's go ahead and close this. And the next one we're going to do is the profile for diagram. Diagram profile, double click it. We have a blank work area. And this time we're going to add using Profile Helper in the toolbox, add diagram extension. So we're going to drag and drop this in the middle here, and we get a dialog box where we're going to give this a name, and we're going to call this solution layer. Camel, no space. And this is applicable to class, diagram type. There we go. Type a description if you want or need to. Give it an alias. We're going to go down here, diagram appearance. Go through these. Not going to make any changes. We're going to go to features. Not going to make any changes. Let's make this a little taller. Here we go. Not going to make any changes. Elements. You can make any of these changes that you want, and connector. So what we want to do from general is select Toolbox Profile. Well, what Toolbox Profile? It's solutioning. We're going to select it. We're going to hit OK. And it's going to draw out all of this for us with a helper. Pretty nice. I like that a lot. Just organize it like that. Make sure you're hitting save. Next, we're going to generate our MDG. But first, since we built out a testing environment and we imported the profile, I want to clean things up. So the first thing that I do is go to Start. I go to Perspectives. I go to Settings. I go to Personal. That's where we did it. I go to Solution. And I go all the way down to our profile right here. And I check off Solution and I hit Save. So I cleaned it up out of that perspective. The next thing is I go to Specialize. I go to Manage Technologies. I select it. I go down to where we imported it, solutioning right here. I uncheck it because I want clean, and I hit OK. So it's thinking, it's cleaning things up, and it's removing that profile from this instance of Sparx. Now, before we can generate our MDG, we've got to save our profile to the file share. So basically, we're going to profile. We'll go ahead and open it. You don't have to. The most important thing is that you have selected in the browser the profile package. And when you go to Specialize, Technology Panel, Publish Technology, you will see enabled Publish Package as UML profile. We'll select it, profile name, the file name path that you're saving the profile to, leave the default EAUML2X, put a version number, we're going with version 01, and type some notes in about that, and then hit save. It already exists. We're going to overwrite it, and it's done. Now the profile is saved to our file share. Note that if you were not on the package and you were to do the same thing up here, it is disabled. So if publish package as a UML profile is disabled, just make sure you're on the package. I have to remind modelers of this all the time. Let's go ahead and close the diagram. The next one is the toolbox. So we're going to open that up. Be in the diagram for the toolbox for this next part, because you're going to go to Specialize, Technologies Panel, and we're going to publish diagram as UML profile. And then you're going to fill out the same file source, put in notes, leave the other things by default. So I have populated these fields, leave all these defaults in the include, hit save. So now that's been saved to our file share. The file share could be in a development environment that's relevant to your software versioning system, whether it's Git or SVN, but you can version your XML there if you wish as you're progressing in your MDG technology development. All right, before we generate the MDG, you may be taking breaks and you just need to come back and remind yourself where you are in a particular effort. And so what we just did was we created a profile, UML profile. We can open up that UML profile and bring that over here. And if you open up Notepad, you'll be able to see, okay, here's the profile that we created. Here's the binary for the shape script for the microservice. And there's other valuable information here that might be noteworthy. For our toolbox, we generated that diagram profile. And if you open that up, you'll be able to see the information, the version number, where you left off, what stereotypes and tag values you placed into that diagram for that tooling, and so on. Now, if you'd been doing testing along the way, you were generating an MTS, and we can open that MTS in Notepad. And there's some important information here to pick up when you're coming back to generate a new MDG. This is all the summary information in the MTS, including icons and logos. Most importantly, the ID number. You do not want to create conflicting ID numbers so that you know that this particular MTS during testing was SA5, and we're going to reuse that. You can also look at the XML for the solution the solution MDG that we created. And in here, you can see, again, the ID number within the XML, things like name. Most importantly, there is versioning. So we've been versioning this at 0.1, and you would increment when you're coming up to the next version to 0.2 or whatever your versioning convention is. And there's a lot more other information that is in this, the binaries for any shape scripts and other things, and other information that you might want to glean to make sure everything is ready for staging, because we're going to be generating an MDG for the final product that we're going to send to governance for testing and review. Or you're just at a stage where you're putting this into a staging environment for testing to take place and validation to take place prior to the MDG going to your governance board to be released in your shop or your company. Now, before I generate the MDG, I want a clean environment. So I'm just going to have everything closed except for this. Very important, if you're in your MDG development environment, only have one Sparx instance up, because as you're bringing in your MDG, it is bringing it into every instance. And if you've got any instances that are open or even cached, it could create a problem for you. So just make sure your environment is clean prior to generating the code, the MDG, for your project. Part of that pre-check is to go to the Specialized tab, Manage Technologies, and make sure that you do not have a previous version of your MDG loaded. And so it's called solutioning, so it's alphabetical order. Also, you're going to select on Advanced, and you don't want any links to that MDG that you are developing. You may have links to other MDGs. You do not want to have links. We want to completely clean our environment as we're starting, and we want to remove that from MDG Technologies, which is found in the Specialized tab, Technologies panel, Manage Technologies. That's what we are in, MDG Technologies, and we're clean and ready to go. Let me cancel this. One other point, I'm going to leave it open because I want to see what happens. Usually, if you look in the upper right-hand corner, you can see that I am focused on our perspective called solutioning. And if I go to Start and I go to Perspectives, it is in a shared set. Let's go to Settings, and then let's go to Shared, and we can see that we have that selected. If we show what's connected, we do not see the solutioning MDG in here because it's not available. Now, one thing is it's cached. And so you don't see it here, but it could be still connected to a ghost instance of that MDG. Let's leave it open and see what happens. We're going back over to the Specialized tab. we're going to go to the Technologies panel and we're going to generate MDG. We get this wizard again. If you haven't already seen it, we're going to hit Next. We're going to open an existing MDG, and it remembers the last one that you were on. It was called Solutioning MTS, and let's just double check. Yes, I did. I looked at that file again, and we're going to select that, and we're going to hit Next. So it has everything, as I had shown you, stored in that MTS. So as we're going through the wizard, it already knows what those presettings were before. And this is going to be version 02. There's our ID number. This is very critical that you're staying on the same ID number as you're going forward. Make any other changes if necessary, such as your icon and your logo location, your URL and your support URL. And we're going to hit Next. So in this instance, we are looking only for profile, which we saved, and diagram types, which is the latest addition for our toolbox. So we want to just bring in these two. In a later session, I can talk about these other ones. So let's go ahead and hit Next. So in this particular case, it remembers that the profile selected files is called Profile XML within this path. Let's hit Next. So here we've been doing testing. It remembers that Toolbox is the diagram. It's telling you right here what it's looking for is what we want to bring into the MDG. Let's hit Next. And so there's nothing else for it to wizard you through. And here's your summary and what it's bringing in, the profile and the Toolbox XML. Let's go ahead and hit Finish. It was successfully done. We'll see, and everything else as far as the path goes looks good. So we're going to hit OK. While we're in the Specialized tab, Technology panel, now we're going to go to Manage Technologies, and we're going to look down here. We created it, but we have not brought it in. So in alphabetical order, I do not see it here. And what we're going to do is hit Advanced. There's no references right now. We're going to add, and we're going to use URL. And we're going to put the path to that MDG, that MTS that we just created. So it's looking for the solutioning.xml file. We're going to hit OK. And there we go. We've got that in there. Let's go ahead and hit OK. And it's processing. It will refresh this dialog. So hopefully if everything went right, we go down here. There it is. We see it loaded. Here's all our information. It's version 02. This is where it got the file. This is development. So when the staging crew looks at this, it's going to be in their app data file or whatever designated staging folder they've given you for the solution XML and MTS. And our description looks good. Our URL for our website and support looks good. Everything looks good. Let's go ahead and hit OK. Now I'm going to go back to the Start tab, Perspectives, Shared Perspectives, Solutioning, but I'm going to Settings first. And so in here, Shared, Solutioning, and then we can see it cached it. I didn't check that. It cached it. So let's see if it works the way that we want it to. If it didn't, we would blow it out of here and before removing it from the MDG, and we would refresh the environment. But let's take it as this and see what happens. So we're going to go ahead and hit Close, and we're still in the solutioning perspective here. And if we go to building diagrams, because I haven't built a model builder pattern yet, we can see here's the solutioning toolbox. That's what we named it, with a solutioning space diagram in here, and we can create that. But let's not do that yet because we're not in the right package that we want to create a diagram on. So I'm going to close this, and I'm going to go to a testing environment. I'm just going to do it here at the root here, and I am going to go to the model builder. I'm going to go to diagram. I'm on the perspective. So it's on the solutioning perspective, and let's create a package and a diagram here. We're going to select it. I'm not in the package, so Model Builder doesn't allow me to do this. Let's create now a package. here called testing with a diagram. All right, so do this again. Now it remembers where we were last. We're going to create a solution diagram. Now create diagram. Wasn't allowing me to create a diagram with a root folder, which that makes sense. And we're now in our testing workspace, I should say, or testing diagram. Right, so now what we're going to do is change our perspective up here so we get our tooling, and there we go. So we've got solution. There we go, solution 1, microservice. There we go, we have our shape script working. Let's draw in a connector. All right, that's all working right. Proper stereotypes, we're okay. Let's bring another solution in here. There we go, solution 2, the counters are working. And let's draw a connector from solution 2 to the microservice. There we go, everything is working fine. Let's check our tag values in our properties window. So we're going to select the first one. This is reuse. Well, they're going to be enhancing for this new microservice. And I set the default to new, so it is automatically on new. I can change it based on the tag values to anything that I want. Let's go to solution 2. Well, it's not reuse. They need to enhance for this new microservice. So we're looking at the connector. We got our tag values in here. This is new. Let's go over to this one. Well, they're building it, and what we're going to be doing is enhancing that as it's going forward. So within the diagram here, I can double click, go to elements, and I can expose tag values. So there's our tag values, enhance, enhance. Because of the shape script, it's covering up tag values. I can't see that. If you want to expose tag values and other intelligence beyond the shape script, you can right click on this, go to appearances you've learned in here, and go to info view. And then what we're going to do is right click on it again, go to appearance, info view properties, and we want to see tag values. So tag values, there we go. We see that this is a new microservice. If I want to hide stereotypes, I can double click in here. I can go to diagram, elements, and then I want to, let's see here, show element stereotypes. No, I'm going to check that off. And there we go, the element stereotypes, except for in InfoView, unless you turn it off in InfoView, that's going to be showing. So we're going through our testing in here, and let's see here, let's hide stereotype. There we go, we know this is a class element. For the connectors, and you've learned this in the channel, we are going to go to connectors, and we're going to look down here for show stereotype labels. No, I don't want to see those. Hide them. All right, now we've got a cleaner model that we're working for in solutioning. And for testing and final validation, let's bring in a legend that's looking for tag values and it's properly coloring, right? Except for there's some confusion here in the info view, enable info view, because it's a black thick border, yet it's a new microservice. Well, if you look at the icon, you can see that it is green, which is the legend color for new elements. Plus you can see the tag values. It's telling you it's new. We know that solution 1 is enhancing and solution 2 is enhancing, whether you've got tag values on or not. And we can double click in here, go to elements and turn off tag values. And let's see what happens. We still see tag values in InfoView because we've told it to show tag values. If you want to see tag values in an element, you can right click on just the element, compartment visibility, and turn on tag values to only see what you want to see within that element. So here I'm showing it, here I've hidden it for any other elements except for this one within this diagram. All right, we're going to wrap up now. We did quite a bit in these two parts. This last one, I know that was over an hour long. If you watch both parts, I'll have chapters below to help you come back and remember things. Let's go back to our normal, let's see here, works. I'm going to go to common full instead of the MDG one just to clean things up. So we developed an MDG tooling in order to accomplish this type of modeling. And if you step through it, make sure you're following the steps that I laid out. Do not create or work in a dirty environment. Make sure before you generate an MDG that you do not have any other Sparx instances open on your desktop, so we're not getting any conflicts from caching. Make sure you create a separate perspective for testing because you may be removing it and you don't want to lose other perspectives that don't already have the MDG in them. So we want to make sure that we're clean before we're developing our MDG. In the next episode, we're going to get into distribution and sharing the MDG. So until that next episode, happy modeling.